A movie to forget or a future cult classic? Only time will tell. Let's talk about it. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Pete, and here we talk about everything in geek culture. Today we're talking about, it's even hard to keep a straight face, we're talking about Psycho Goreman, a movie suggested by a friend of mine. Today, check this movie out, see what you think. And I did. So, Psycho Goreman is either the best, worst movie I've ever seen, or the worst, best movie I've ever seen. It's a weird one, so bear with me. This is a low-budget blockbuster that pulls elements from Star Wars, horror movies, and even Power Rangers. You can really tell the influence from Power Rangers in the character design, especially in Psycho Goreman himself and the other, enemies or villains that come up later in the movie. So as far as design, costume, and the design of the monsters, this is very nostalgic. It gives you a very nostalgic feeling right off the bat. But the movie will sometimes bore you. Let me explain. Sometimes the acting goes a little bit overboard. The kids, for example, they're both really good kids. The boy does a really good job of playing a very bland, boring kid. And his sister, the other actress, she does a fantastic job of playing a very crazy, primal, just bat shit crazy little girl. And the dynamic between the two are very good. But the acting, especially on the little actress, the little girl, sometimes can be too much. Now, I don't think it's her fault. It was more of the director's advice or vision that kind of made the girl be obnoxious. Probably on purpose, but she was obnoxious at many times throughout the movie. It doesn't take very long for us to meet Psycho Goreman, which is a good thing. I was afraid it was going to drag on forever, but it didn't. It kind of started right away. They're playing a game. They find this amulet. They remove the amulet, which releases Psycho Goreman. He doesn't come out till later, a couple scenes later, but it still doesn't take. And right away you see the kind of power that he has, what he can do as far as destruction is concerned, what he can do to other human beings. There's a phrase that he says, maybe in a few millennia your kind will be memorable adversaries, but millennia, so it's going to take millions of years for humans to even be slightly on par with him. But he messes up these three dudes right in the beginning, and then he meets the two other main characters, and throughout the movie they develop this weird relationship, this weird bond, and whoever holds the amulet can control the Archduke of Nightmares, as he calls himself, which later on the kids will call him Psycho Goreman. Psycho Goreman is like this demigod being that thrives on chaos and destruction. His whole purpose is to destroy the universe, which doesn't happen because the little girl holds the amulet for the majority of the movie, and they take control of him, and it's very hilarious how it's done. He goes on his apocalyptic rants on how he's gonna kill everybody, including the little kids, and the little kids quickly dismiss what he's talking about to just completely change the subject to something more kid-like, more futile in his eyes. My favorite part of the movie, however, is the dark humor. It's the dark humor associated with Psycho Goreman that goes on throughout the entire movie, obviously, because he's in most of the shots. There's a particular scene in there. There's going to be one-liners from this movie that if you were going to be a very loyal fan base, you're going to start repeating these one-liners over and over again. And one of my favorite ones is when the two main characters, Luke and Mimi, they take one of their friends to meet Psycho Goreman, and the kid is like, "Okay, Mr. Goreman, it was very nice to meet you," and he replies with, "It would be nicer if you were dead." So these little dark humor that are peppered and sprinkled throughout the movie were very well done. So that in itself is A+. Very well done. As the plot develops and the movie goes on, you're introduced to new characters. You're introduced to how he got his powers, or how he became to be this demigod of destruction. And there's just a little backstory about his race and his planet being conquered by the Templars, which are these religious demigods that want to bring order to the universe, but obviously per the Templars' way, right? So they're not exactly the good guys either. So there's these battles that happen throughout the movie. And there's one major battle at the end, obviously, but the movie itself is a fun watch. Now for the rating, I'm not sure if I want to give this movie a 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10. And don't get me wrong, that's not really a bad score, because this is a low budget movie compared to everything else that I've reviewed here so far, right? The Marvel series, everything's really high budget. This is very low budget. So for this to score above a 5 out of 10, which a 5 out of 10 is an average movie, just keep that in mind. 5 out of 10 is average. So for it to rank a 6 or 7 out of 10 is pretty good for a movie like this. So I think at the end I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 due to the dark humor, due to its apparent and forced cheesiness and how it feels nostalgic already. You know, the movie's only been out for 5-6 days. It feels like it's been out forever. It feels like I've watched it before. It's got this familiar feeling. So that's why I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. This is definitely a movie you want to watch again. But maybe this time, if you didn't watch it with friends, maybe grab 2 or 3 friends and watch it again. You know, just grab your boys, grab your girls. You know, stock up on a few drinks, some beer, some margaritas, and watch it again, or just have a laugh. I think this is ultimately what this movie's about. Is just meant to get a laugh out of you and meant to just kind of bring back an aspect that's kind of been missing in movies lately that this movie does very well. If you like this video, there's going to be a card popping up here about my reaction to Willy's Wonderland, the movie with Nicolas Cage that's coming out. And if you're into other geek culture movies or TV shows, there's whole other lists in my channel. There's playlists for Marvel, DC, Cobra Kai, The Mandalorian. So you can find those here in the channel. Thank you very much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.